Welcome back to the program. Tomorrow, my next guest is teaming up with Senator Kirsten Gillibrand and Congressman Charles Rangel to discuss the challenges facing minorities in the inner city. And they're pushing for legislation to help them find jobs. Joining us to discuss the issue and much more, the president of the New York Urban League, Arva. Great to see you.
Good evening, Errol.
You are pushing for something called the Urban Jobs Act that Congressman Rangel and Senator Gillibrand and others have sponsored and are trying to work through Congress. What's in the bill?
The Urban Jobs Act is designed to help individuals who are between the ages of 16 and 24, particularly young people who have dropped out of high school, who may have been engaged in the criminal justice system in some way, but providing them with a second chance in order that they can receive the skills, the jobs training, and experience that they need in order that they can participate positively in the job market.
Second chance sounds like something about a possible criminal background would be mitigated or otherwise disposed of?
Well, I don't know if we can have it disposed of. We're working on that with some of our corporate champions in order to help them to eliminate that box that appears so many times on job applications. But it's specifically designed for young people in order to have them interact with a positive nonprofit organization, such as the Urban League, maybe the NAACP, and other different organizations, in order to provide the young people with the support, the child care that they need in order to be successful.
And of course, this is a season in Washington where everything that costs anything is considered wasteful or expendable. How much would this bill cost?
Well, we're initially asking for $20 million for the first year of the jobs bill, and the reason why we're asking for it at that amount is just because it's easier to invest with young people at this end than it is to invest when they're going into the prison system. We found that in New York State alone, almost 75% of the individuals that are there do not have a high school degree, do not have a GED, and so if we can make that change and that difference in the educational outcomes from young people, we can have an increased impact on the outcomes.
Yeah. It's amazing. It's about $40,000 a year to incarcerate somebody in New York State, and that same $40,000 would get you a year at Princeton with a couple thousand left over, apparently.
Exactly.
I smiled when you said 20 million because our mayor came up with over $20 million, popped it in the budget without a hearing, notice to the city council or anything else for the Young Men's Initiative, as a matter of fact.
He most certainly did.
What do you make of the planning of it? I mean, the execution and where that money came from, that's for the politicians to figure out. But do you think the initiative has some promise?
I do think the initiative has some promise. I applaud the mayor for making the investment. I do think that there are some challenges within it. If you look at some of the specific language that's there, there's a big chunk of money that goes to the Department of Education. There's some smaller monies that go to different nonprofit organizations. And so I think that the coordination of that, I'm happy to see the deputy mayor that has been placed in charge of it working in conjunction with our schools chancellor. I think there's a lot of terrific things that can come out of it as long as there's a competitive and open request for proposal process.
Okay, very good. And you recently sponsored some dialogues up in Harlem, and I was invited and was glad to participate in some of them, where you brought in a lot of different players. The Manhattan District Attorney was there, the police commissioner was there, the head of the housing authority was there, and then there were a whole lot of very impressive community groups that went on for several hours to talk about different strategies. What came out of that? What happens next?
I think there was a very clear call for action. There are people who said that we have been in this conversation before. We've listened to terrific presentations by the police commissioner, by the district attorney's office. They've said that they're interested in working with communities, but where's the action and what's the plan going forward? And so that's what we'll be doing over the course of the next couple of months, is bringing together smaller and larger groups of Harlemites together to talk about what are the concrete strategies that we want to utilize, what are the policies that we need to feel that need to be changed in order to make Harlem and other Harlem communities throughout the city safer.
It's very interesting. People say that everything is the new civil rights movement, right?
Right.
You know, same-sex marriage was the next civil rights movement. Education is the next civil rights movement. As somebody representing an organization that was part of the original civil rights movement, is public safety now on the agenda in a big way?
I think that public safety is on the agenda, but one of the things that we've clearly talked about, and going back to the Jobs Act, is really it's about jobs. And so jobs are really necessary, and in order to have those jobs, you have to have education that's in place in order that young people are trained and prepared for them. You and I know the importance of having our first summer job. The viewers here know the importance of having that first summer job, the things that you learn about work ethic and getting a job completed, and that feeling of pride and ownership. And so we really think that individuals being able to work is a clear and definite civil rights issue.
And it's interesting because this conversation comes now at the end of the summer. So we're past talking about the summer of 2011. That ship has sailed.
Right.
You're talking about things going into the future.
We're definitely talking about things going into the future, because this jobs bill particularly is designed for individuals who are already out of school already. So these are the folks that are already standing on the street corner, who we're passing by in the morning on our way to work or coming home, and we're wondering what are the opportunities for these young people. So if we can start tomorrow, if we can start the day after, it's still going to be important and integral to these young people.
Okay, very good. And I don't want you to get out of here without mentioning the big football classic that's coming up in September, your big fundraiser that provides lots and lots of scholarships.
It most certainly does. Our football classic is the Howard University versus Morgan State on Saturday, September 24th. We'll be at the new Meadowlands, and we're excited to, as always, provide proceeds of that game to our Whitney M. Young Scholarship Initiative, where we've given out over $20 million in scholarships to New Yorkers.
And in any given year, about how much money in scholarships? These are college scholarships.
These are college scholarships. They're to freshmen. We're working on extending it so that it goes throughout their 4 years of school, but right now it goes out to freshmen. And each year we give out somewhere between $200,000 and $300,000 in scholarships to young people.
Okay, fantastic. Very good to see you, Arva Rice.
Thank you so much.